Well, here we are at day 22 of Instagram Quilt Fest that I'm bringing over to YouTube. And the prompt today is kind of a tricky one. So the prompt today is most loved quilt, which I don't know if I could pick a most loved one. I have lots of quilts and I like all of them and they all have very significant reasons. But I decided to pick 2 quilts that I did not make to show you in my space today, because they came from very significant people and also probably part of why I am a quilter. So, but I have kind of mentioned this first one before. I graduated high school in 2006. So at that point, my grandma, so my mom's mom, made each of us a quilt for graduation, and this was mine. And so with that, I felt this has lived on my bed for years, when I had a twin bed, when I had a queen bed. It's even been on our Cal King a couple times, and it came with us on one of our trips out of town where we needed to bring our own bedding. And I was like, well, let's grab this quilt, it fits. And so it's all sorts of blues and teals. So as you can tell, things haven't changed since high school. I love the same band, I love the same colors, all sorts of fun. And so I loved the curves on this. This one has been well used and well loved because it was such a good size. So my grandma gave me the scraps for this one later on, and that's what I made my fox quilt out of, was these scraps. And that quilt lives at my parents' house still, so someday it'll all come live together, but I love this one. It's just so simple and modern and a whole lot of fun. And I am impressed by the curved piecing. So someday I may have to inquire as to making this kind of a quilt, because curves are on my someday list. But with that, that is my first quilt from one grandma. And then when my grandma on my dad's side passed in 2019, some of the things, we were going through her stuff, and some of them were quilts that she had made. And so my cousin had already gotten the ones that we as kids, when we stayed in the toy room, which is what we called the bedroom that we stayed in. And so there were twin beds in there and they had matching quilts. And my cousin, she had kids of her own. She asked my grandma for those quilts and she got them. And so when it came to picking out quilts for after her passing, I ended up with this one. And so this shade of blue particularly is very much what reminds me of my grandma. She wore a lot of this color, even these kind of prints and stuff. So it's a very simple block. It's kind of this little 8-pointed star. I'm sure it has a real name. But it's all, I'm gonna guess that it's probably, if it's not machine pieced, it's probably hand pieced. Well, it's probably, I can kind of see it machine pieced, but it is all hand quilted. So, so all in there, you can see all the quilting, and it's such a good size. It's very lightweight. And so we keep it as one of the quilts on the bed right now, and it'll probably be the one that comes into the summer that we'll use as well. And it's really big. Like, it fits on our Cal King bed with no problem. A whole lot of hangover if you put it on the wrong way. So those are my 2 quilts of significance. They're gonna find themselves around here for a very long time and be cherished for years to come. And so with that, speaking of quilts that I love and quilts that are well loved, let's go quilt that pillow. So what I've done so far is I've loaded in a piece of muslin that's going to act as the base for my pillow backing, because I'm going to quilt on there. And I've got my batting that is hopefully the right size. Double check. Make sure it'll fit. Yep. Okay. So now I'm going to bring my machine over and I'm going to baste a straight line across the top. That's going to act as my guideline for making sure my little pillowcase, making sure that my pillow front is all lined up and even. So let's make sure, not too high up. so now baste. All right, so now what I need to do is I'm going to line my Trixie right up, there it is, right up with this basting line. So I'm going to find my center-ish and then line it up with my center, and then open that up so she is on there and ready to party. And then I'm going to baste in as much as I can get in my little safe area. So I'm not going to baste down here. I'm just going to baste what's going to be this first section. Right side, and I'm going to go back into the left side. I should probably put my little clamps on. Just put in there. Let's get this side. Right, go around so I can reach the release. Right, the opposite of the right side. Okay, so now they're all basted in. I've got some loose strings, and I did use my batting tape to put two pieces together of batting because it's a small size piece and I didn't need to be perfect, and I think the quilting I'm going to do is going to be pretty dense on there. So with that, it's now time to change my thread and quilt.